so much for your interest in EagleWorks and for participating or subsequently watching this presentation after the fact. Tonight is all about how to make an effective pitch. We are moving towards our first challenge, our idea challenge, where you have 90 seconds to pitch an innovative solution to a problem. And then also this ties directly into the main EagleWorks competition that will be coming up in April. So with that said, I'd like to pass it over to Andrea. Tell us some of the upcoming dates and then introduce us to Jeff.
Hey, everyone. So this, like Michael said, this workshop is all about doing an effective pitch. So we will be hosting a virtual pitch practice on November 4th at 6 o'clock, and I will post the link on our tntech.edu/EagleWorks website later this week. We'll also do one of those on November 9th at 6 o'clock, and then November 11th is the idea challenge at 6 o'clock. To participate in that, you do have to register. So make sure you go to tntech.edu/EagleWorks to take care of that. And also sign up for our mailing list and watch Tech Times, because that'll give you all the information as you need it. With that, I will hand this over to Jeff Brown, president of the Biz Foundry, our local entrepreneurship center and co-working space. Jeff does a lot of work for us here in EagleWorks and is really passionate about helping students and knows a little bit about how to do an effective pitch. So, Jeff?
Well, thank you. So, if I'd have known you were recording me, I'd have had my hair done. So, so part of what we work in the world of not just students, don't get this wrong. I actually teach entrepreneurship to students the very same way we do to 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds. All the concepts are the same. It's just kind of where you're coming from. So a whole lot of what we do is getting people used to kind of this idea of how do you take your idea and bring it to life. And one of the things you got to be able to do is talk about it, right? And a way to from people that, what is a pitch? And so, I've never done a pitch. Well, yeah, of course you have, right? And so did you talk your roommate into letting you have the remote? Then you've done a pitch, right? Did you, when you're doing a group project in class and you pitch your idea of how to run the project, that's a pitch. And so you're doing it all the time, whether you know it or not. And so that's really part of what we try to teach is it is a skill set that is just, we can't tell you how valuable it is in life. And so, hey, I figured out how to use the screen share in Teams. So when we come at a pitch, so it's this idea we were all taught, gosh, I look back, everybody may have had some kind of speech class or something like that. And so it's really evolved over the last 20 years. And again, you don't need notes. And especially what we're talking about tonight is the elevator pitch. And so, and I totally stole the slideshow, by the way, from a friend of mine. So I try not to ever build things that somebody else will let me have. And so, it's just, you can practice. And one of the things we'll tell you is practice. And so really what a good pitch does, whether it's an elevator pitch, doesn't matter if it's the EagleWorks pitch of what are we, Andrea? 5 to 7 minutes now. Is that where we're at on the videos?
Yeah, it'll be 7 minutes.
Okay.
I think that sounds right.
So, 7 minutes on a typical competition like this. And then if you're meeting with investors, you usually have 30 to 45 minutes, maybe up to an hour. And so they're all based around the same things of telling your story, right? You don't give all the technical details. The point of a pitch is to get people interested enough to spend more time with you. So, and here's something that I can't stress enough is it's really easy to do a 20 or 30 minute pitch because you feel like you have plenty of time. But we as humans have a really hard time doing a 7 minute or a 2 minute pitch. And so Einstein said, if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. And I can't I cannot express to you how true that is, because we will work you at some point through the business model canvas, and that's kind of the rubric you'll be judged on in EagleWorks. It is based off the information in the business model canvas. And the whole point of the business model canvas is to understand your idea, your customer, and how you actually get to where you want to be in very simple terms. And so I can't tell you how hard it is to do a short pitch compared to a long one. And one of the things we want you to understand is the audience you're dealing with in the world today. They're like me. I don't have a short attention span. I just, oh, look, there's a squirrel. That is me day in, day out. And we get all this content versus delivery, and delivery matters. You know, we do a program with high school students, and honestly, even the way you do it is I have Tennessee Tech students facilitate those programs for me, because they want to talk to a 21-year-old cool college kid, not a 58-year-old bald grandpa. So, you know, we do that for a reason. And then delivery is just so much of it. And content has to be good and correct and timely, but it's not all about the content. So, you know, a good book written in crayon is a little hard to read. So let's talk about these pitches. And like I said, what I mentioned earlier is that, you know, the investor pitch, the Silicon Valley idea, we're going to go pitch investors, is usually about 45 minutes. Then a shorter version of that is maybe you met the investor at a convention or a trade show or whatever, through one of the entrepreneur centers. So you met them in an event. You may get to do what's called a napkin pitch, or back of napkin is a term a lot of people use. So you actually have 15 minutes or so to kind of tell them what you're working on. But where we're going to talk about tonight is the elevator pitch. And then there's the handshake intro. And so when you look at the words, a lot of people try to make an elevator pitch. So the whole idea, the reason it's called an elevator pitch is, can you tell your story of your idea, your company, whatever it is, in 30 to 120 seconds, which is the length of an elevator ride. So you met somebody new, and maybe you were stalking them at something. You know, maybe it's an investor or a partner you need for your idea. There's nothing wrong with stalking whoever you need to meet, because we'll talk a lot about building a company is a whole lot about relationships and networking. And so can you introduce yourself and tell them your idea in 30 to 120 seconds, and probably somewhere around 120 to 150 words. And in the case of you're doing it on an elevator, you're not using PowerPoint. So one of the last things here is don't make a presentation. And of course, we're showing it to you using a slideshow. So, you know, what is your goal of the average pitch? And this is where people get confused, is the old adage of, I ask you what time it was, don't tell me how to build a watch, is very true. So your goal is to pique their curiosity, so that then they reach out to you later to get more details, right? Tell or show me more. So that's what pitches are for, is to get them interested. And there's kind of 10 ingredients, and you can argue this till the cows come home, what the real ingredients are. It doesn't matter. It's really about understanding the process. So there's kind of 5 core elements and kind of 5 add-ons. And what you're trying to do is, you know, build a good bowl of soup with a lot of good ingredients in it. So a pitch covers some basic ingredients, and you may add more salt or more pepper, but that's kind of how this works. So as we get into the details of this, you know, there's obviously the introduction part, you know, who are you, you know, name, company name, whatever. So what you do. And so here's where a lot of people go wrong. So, you know, what we do should be stated in what we do for others, right? So not that, you know, we take 14,342 parts and put them together to assemble a car, is no, we build reliable transportation, right? So there's a big difference. So not detailed what you do, but what do you do from the lens of the people you're doing it for? What does it do for them? Most of you probably heard this idea of, what's in it for me. And that's what you want to be able to pitch to, is what's in it for your customer. And focus on why, right? So here, the why, whatever it is they're doing here, we don't even know the whole idea, is to empower people to live independently using convenient technology. It doesn't say we're taking diodes and electrodes and pieces of metal and assembling them all together. And so, I'll pick on the engineers a little bit, is that's what engineers tend to do, is tell you exactly how to build a watch, when all we wanted to know was what time it is. If we want to know how it's built, we'll get back with you on that. So focus on the why. And that's kind of the handshake intro. And then you're always trying to find a hook, right? So what really piques their interest that makes them move forward or ask more questions. So your target group, always be able to tell who you help. Who are your primary users or customers? And part of that's because it's hard to reach senior direct to consumer. We focus the first phase on senior care providers. So who do you help? We help senior care providers, right? And so then kind of the main pain. And so one of the things you're really going to get into when we get into the 7-minute pitch is, and part of the business model canvas, is what is the problem you're solving, and do you truly understand the problem, and who or whom, according to how correct you want to be, are you solving it for? And we get a lot of entrepreneurs come to us and, who's your customer? Everybody. Well, no such thing exists short of air and water. I don't think there's anything else that everybody can be your customer. So what is the primary user's main pain, right? Why do they need this? What does it take care of? Is it they're having trouble climbing stairs or whatever? But here it's saying they don't have enough staff to cope with demanding clients. And so there's actually kind of two. So they're solving the user's problem, and then the customer, being the senior care people, they're solving their problem of short staffing, but yet able to grow their business. So what is the opportunity really, but what is the main pain? And you'll hear that over and over again as we go through EagleWorks especially. And then you kind of think of your ideas. What is it? It's the painkiller, right? So what is our painkiller? Here they're talking about a mobile platform with easy access to qualified services that acts as a front office for clients and senior care providers. That is an awfully long sentence. I would probably shorten that. So there's nothing wrong with, again, making very short and to the point sentences, especially in the elevator pitch, but really be able to talk about why they should fall in love. So the point, what you're trying to do here is get the person you're pitching to fall in love, that they understand the problem, that they see it. One of the best pitches you'll see is when they can actually feel the pain of the user. We'll show you one from one of our previous user winners later on, is that they really got the audience to understand the pain, and then, the ta-da moment of here's our solution. And so, man, when you've got the people pitching to hooked, because they kind of lean forward and all of a sudden they're interested. So what a lot of people do in their pitches is they go, so here's what I want to argue with a little bit, that you get too deep into the benefits and not the actual solution. But really, you want to touch on the benefits. So what's the win for our customer, right? With our solution, senior care providers can work 30% more efficiently, right? And can triple their client base without going outside their facility. So can it be quantifiable? It's hard in EagleWorks for you to have your ideas to the point it's quantifiable. You just don't have long enough or go far enough. So, but really trying to understand what is the win, what's in it. Again, back to it, the benefits are what's in it for them. And so we tell the story a lot. We use the story of, why do people buy drills, right? Do people buy drills because they want to own a drill? It can be cordless or it can be whatever. but they don't really want to own a drill. Why do people buy drills? Well, the answer to that is they need holes, right? Their pain is they need a hole so they can hang a picture or mount a TV or mount two walls together. That's their pain. And so our solution is to create a hole easily for them, right? So nobody wants to own a drill, but they just want lots of holes. And so think of it that way. The benefit is an easy way to get holes. Nobody, not that I know of, uses a drill to go drill holes and then doesn't hang anything or mount anything or put some kind of screw or bolt into it. That's the whole point. So, but you'll never see, it's kind of interesting that you'll never see a drill advertised as, a quick and efficient hole creator, right? But that's really the job it does. And so, but the job they want it done is their TV mounted. So the hole is just part of getting there. So when you start putting this all together, the first part we talked about is kind of the opening, the who and the pain. The second part would be kind of the painkiller and the benefits. And then if you have one, you need to be able to mention what's your secret sauce. Now, here's what I tell people is, because you get into this thing of, do I tell people my secrets? No, you don't tell them your secrets, but tell them that things like we have key intellectual property or a key algorithm, or you don't show them how to build it or show them a copy of it. Kentucky Fried Chicken is a great example. They've sold a little bit of chicken using their secret recipe, right? And, supposedly nobody knows the secret recipe. It's involved in Louisville somewhere or something. I don't remember the whole story. But anyway, they don't name all the spices that are in it. They just say our secret spice, our secret recipe. And, that is your competitive advantage. So you talk about that you have a secret recipe. So it could be a patent, or it could be probably a patent when you're talking about IP. But really, what is our secret sauce? And not the formula, but just again, I can sell you barbecue sauce and not tell you all the ingredients in it so that you can't copy it too easily. And so Cubigo offers a superior and consistent user interface that's older adult friendly and available on every platform. So, their competitive advantage is that it's adult friendly and available on every platform. And so that you can include that in there. And then when we talk about a business model, it's usually how does this thing make money? So according to who you're pitching to or presenting to, if it's a possible, another thing is always be able to have a few versions of a good pitch, because the way you pitch to an investor is a little different from the way you pitch to maybe a partner that you need, or maybe it's a manufacturer that you need to come on board with you. So, you got to be able to pitch, again, what's in it for them, but kind of how do you make money? So, they're saying here they have a recurring business model. They pay a monthly fee per client. We upsell with new services directly through the platform, and due to the aging of the population, our potential market will grow 5% a year. So part of how do you make money, the business model in a short pitch, is how do you make money, right? Do we rent it? Do we sell it? Is it software as a service? Whatever it is, whatever your true, I tell people the idea of your revenue model, that people are a little confused if you've never had any accounting. Well, it's really simple. What is the channel? How do you get money from their pocket into yours? It's really that simple. And then how do you move the needle, which is a term I hate, that's been so overused in entrepreneurship and investing. But how do you, as it says here, our potential market will grow by 5% and we are upselling. So that's how we're moving the needle. Like I say, I hate that term. We did a bingo game a couple, 4 or 5 years ago, and the whole bingo card was all the catchphrases in entrepreneurship and investing, which was really funny. So I think we need to do another one and do some kind of contest with it. So one of the things in the longer pitch, so if you have the 2 minutes, is kind of your team, right? I have this super duper person that developed the algorithm or whatever. So here, this talks about, and you want to really try to touch on the unique capabilities of your partners or employees or co-founders or whatever. Is that our multidisciplinary, it's a hard word to say, international team located in Europe. My co-founder is a general practitioner with more than 20 years of experience in elderly care. So what are you trying to do here? You're trying to say that we know what we're talking about, right? Again, a little hard to do with some of the EagleWorks things, but you can use your team to do that. It doesn't have to be just you. Actually, we're pretty wary of entrepreneurs that say they're an expert in everything, because they're just not. And then if you've had some kind of achievement, that you've got your first sale, or you got your first investor, or you signed a pilot program with a company, or you're partnering with a school or whatever. So some kind of achievement that you've already accomplished. And then if you're pitching for money, which you guys are not going to be doing just yet, but what's been invested so far, how much are you trying to raise, and what will the funds be used for? Now that will be part of EagleWorks, by the way. We will get back to that. And so then again, this is a little wordy here. So I haven't gone back and looked in the slide presentation how many words are in all these boxes if you go all the way through. But then really, finish this thing out. So what's your ask, right? So, talk to us if you want to know more. Help connect me to people that might be interested in helping us. Help connect me to elder care providers, whatever that is, right? But give them always end with a call to action. Become a part of the elder care team today, whatever that phrase is. But you always want to end something like this, that they understand you're giving them some call to action. And so I'm not going to make you go through this, put it all together. But really, a good pitch is just these basic and kind of spice kind of elements. And so again, the first 5 are kind of the basics, and then these you may or may not use all of those, right? So how we make money, who's doing it, all the things, the last part of this. So the first 5 will certainly be a part of almost any pitch. And then these may come and go according to where you're at and what you're doing. So do's and don'ts, I always try to do those. Keep it simple, stupid. Big words, acronyms, those kind of things. Don't assume that investors know all the technical side of what you're doing. Investors don't invest in huge technical startups because they know the technology. They invest in it because they think it's such a good idea they'll make money. So now they may have people that work for them that'll come back and check and make sure you know what you're talking about on the technical side. But in these short presentations, you're not doing that. And that's a little different from academic. Academic presentations are to prove what you know. And so these presentations are to prove what you need and who you can help, and that you have a real customer. Not a big fan, and we'll talk about this in EagleWorks, not a big fan of more than one presenter, but we have seen teams do pretty well, better than we expected in the past. You will use PowerPoint in the bigger presentation. And here's the biggest thing. And anytime you're meeting anybody, pitching, presenting, relax and smile. I teach this to probably 150, 200 people a year. I make presentations all over the United States. I've made them everywhere in the world and done thousands of them. And I've never seen anybody die from doing a pitch. Or presenting at a large show or any of those kind of things. They may think they're going to die, and they may really sweat a lot, but we've never seen anybody die. Don't focus on how, right? We all want to tell people how we do something, and that's not really what they want to hear in the short version. The techie guys will ask you how. The engineers, the material scientists, those kind of people. Because that's what they understand. But talk about the why and the who. Don't speed talk. and I don't even remember exactly what a TLA is. But don't talk so fast that it sounds like you're speed reading. You know, have times to take breath, get the proper inflection to zero in on things that you know are key points, and don't try to tell them everything. Remember back to the first slide of all you're wanting to do is to pique their curiosity enough that they want to meet with you separately and learn more about it so they can tell others. So that's kind of it. And this is in a normal. So for this tape version and in the COVID version, we would have a few of you practice this really quickly. And so I tell people, so at the Biz Foundry, we're an entrepreneur center. We have co-working spaces. So, you know, what's our elevator pitch? So our kind of main elevator pitch is, you know, we're a nonprofit founded by experienced entrepreneurs that use our experience, our connections, our mentors, and proven methods to help entrepreneurs imagine, start, and grow companies. Boom. That's it, right? That's kind of our elevator pitch. And then people get into all this discussion of mission statements and all that. An elevator pitch is not a mission statement. It is a conversation that you can get your points across about why my idea, my company, my invention, whatever it is, needs to exist and why you should be interested and be happy to connect me to other people or money or whatever that is. So that's kind of it in a nutshell, is that we sometimes way overthink it. And the most important thing I can tell you on the 30-second, the 2-minute, the 7-minute, or the 45-minute pitch is practice. So if you haven't, the general idea is you need to have practiced your pitch 15 to 20 times at a bare minimum. And then we'll, just for a second, talking about the bigger ones. So why do we use slides? Don't read the slides. So you want to talk to your audience and you want them concentrating on you, not the slides. So slides are really a thing to add some graphics, add some explainer type few words, and again, pictures. But really, a good pitch, the slides are almost more your notes. So the slides keep you on task and on time. Is how I use slides. And so that's really not that you want to read them to me. This one is a little bit reading, but again, and going through this is a little different from how I would do this to give an audience idea. Another thing is, don't worry if you make mistakes. Again, deep breath, relax. Things are going to happen. We're in this world of, you know, as Michael was doing this earlier, his internet connection went bad while he was trying to introduce what we're doing here. Microphones that go out at presentation halls, just all those kind of things. Slideshows stop working. You know, what's the one from the vice presidential debate? You get a fly land on your head. All those kind of things, that happens. So don't let it throw you off and just accept it. A lot of times you can make humor. You know, I did a pitch with one of my startups. God, it's probably been 4 years ago now. So it was to the Southern Automotive Manufacturers Association. So, you know, 900 auto manufacturing executives in the crowd. And the slideshow, they had a company set up to do all the AV, and my slides crashed about, it was a 12-minute pitch. So my slides crashed at about 7 minutes. And so I just stood there and talked. I didn't need my slides, but I'd practiced enough, and I won the competition. Now, I don't know that I had the best idea, but I think I got a huge sympathy vote from the judges that I didn't panic and just kept going. And so, I know I didn't have the best idea because there was another one there I probably would have given it to. But anyway, so that's what you need to worry about, is how do I transfer what's in my head in an easy and very simple to understand method to the people that I'm trying to explain what do I do. So there you have it. Now if I can figure out